So today I thought it would be fun to go over all of the Silver Skies that John Mayer has never made. Since the guitar was born, there have been a handful of various prototypes that have been teased or we've seen John using live that have never made their way to be able to be purchased as a production model. And I thought it'd be cool to kind of rank them from my least favorite to my most favorite. And even though that the majority of finishes and examples of the Silver Sky that we've seen John using live have made it to a production model, there are a handful that just haven't, and honestly probably never will at this point in time. So I thought it'd be cool to just put them all in one video together and highlight all of these unique examples of the Silver Sky. All right, number 7 and my least favorite Silver Sky prototype, and actually the guitar that inspired this video, is the prototype flip-flop finish that we saw in the Everything Mayer podcast. My friend Tom Butwin got exclusive access to the PRS head office, and he was allowed to show off these two different prototypes of this color that he wasn't allowed to actually share the name that it was supposed to have, but he was allowed to showcase, here's two different cracks at trying to nail this color. And these finishes are very reminiscent of Nebula and Lunar Ice in terms of that metallic flip-floppy finish. And to me, they're just not in line with the Silver Skies aesthetic. It looks like some kind of like cheap, like muscle car flip-flop paint finish almost. That's kind of what I see when I see these colors, and I even joked in the comments of the video, yeah, I can see why they ended up not actually making these finishes. And I don't know the timeline if this was supposed to be a third limited edition finish, but the maple board kind of makes me wonder, was this after the Nebula and they were kind of trying some darker colors and then decided to go with Lunar Ice because they wanted to do a maple board limited edition? So as far as that timeline, we don't know. I'd love to know. Tom, if you watch this, let us know if you can share the timeline that these were prototypes in the comments. But to me, Nebula and Lunar Ice are a million times better looking, but I can see where they were going with it. It's just something that I personally am kind of like, not my favorite. But I'll have that video linked in the description down below. Tom and I have been trying to tee up me going on Everything Mayer, him coming on my channel. Life's been so crazy. It's been really, really difficult to actually find some dedicated time to make it happen, but I promise we will. Tom's a man, and I just really appreciate the video that he did, and then it inspired me to be like, hey, let's throw all of these unique prototypes in one video. So that is number 7. Let's move on to number 6. Now, number 6 is a Silver Sky that I feel like a lot of people have probably forgotten about and even don't remember that it is a separate Silver Sky from the one that we have in the production version, but it's the Last Train Home Silver Sky because this guitar is a different finish than what would become Roxy Pink. In an interview, John did mention that that one was a little bit too hot of a pink for them to actually want to do for the production version. So they toned it down and then created Roxy Pink, which then would be the guitar we saw John using live and the production finish as well. But the Last Train Home music video's guitar, that is a different finish, and that was kind of the original Sob Rock era guitar. So kind of cool to see that how they were prototyping the pink and then decided, okay, we're going to tone it down a little bit. And then because of the sheer demand, I remember when PRS and John Mayer teased the neon sign all in pink, it was like, okay, yeah, they've heard us. They are going to make Roxy pink. And then that became one of the most popular Silver Sky finishes ever. I feel like probably second to Mock Sand. Number 5 is what I think to be the most unique Silver Sky that we've ever seen John Mayer road test and prototype, and it's the all-white Silver Sky. This guitar we saw during the second leg of the 2019 World Tour, and when John did some of the Continuum nights, he did one in Madison Square Garden and one in Los Angeles, we actually saw him using the Silver Sky for the vast majority of the night, so it's cemented in Mayer history because of its use during these just incredible shows that John did playing Continuum front to back. The guitar is really cool. It's not quite frost, but then the back of the neck and the headstock all are done in the matching color. It's something we've never seen on any other Silver Sky before, and I remember seeing it thinking, okay, that is really unique. That is really cool. And then it also has bits of blue hardware as well, like the truss rod cover and the input jack are actually in blue, which it's just cool. It's pretty out there. And I remember when John was playing this guitar at that point in time, some theories were flying out there that maybe the matching headstock and back of the neck is kind of, maybe that's hinting that it's a SE prototype that he's testing out. And I definitely don't think that ended up being the case. It just was something unique that they were trying, but it was certainly a guitar that got a lot of conversation around because it was so out there compared to anything we had seen up until that point in time, and even to today. We've never seen John test out any other Silver Sky with a matching headstock finish and back of the neck. This one is truly unique. I'm not sick there, but I'm getting there. You know what I mean? Now, the kind of cool thing about this guitar is that there is a good chance that we will still kind of see it throughout the years in the Mayer universe, because John did give it to Isaiah Sharkey, and the last time we saw this guitar was during the Sob Rock TV promotional performances that John and the band did in studio. You saw Isaiah Sharkey actually using it during the kickoff of the Sob Rock era, which is really cool. So hopefully it's a guitar that still kind of you just see around because it is so unique, and really cool too that John gave one of the prototypes to Isaiah. I think that is really awesome. Another kind of cool thing about this guitar as well is that my really good friend Sam actually had one custom built with the blue hardware included, and then my friend Chandler ended up buying it off of him as well. So still in the family, but just kind of cool that there is kind of one out there that a friend of mine did get built because he just thought it was absolutely amazing. But the all white Silver Sky, very, very unique and really, really cool. Moving on to number 4, and it's the Proto 5.0.1, a pretty subtle finish for the Silver Sky, but I think really cool, kind of the beige, slight pink hints that the guitar has in the two-tone color version of it. It's just really unique, and John just kind of casually posted it to his Instagram, 5.0.1, and he even has in marker, it looks like, or Sharpie, just Proto, where now we see the Prototype Silver Sky Advanced Research Division stickers on all of John's Prototype Silver Skies. But this was kind of the first one that actually had just some cheeky writing on it that said, oh yeah, it's very clearly a prototype. Now this guitar, from what I understand, was only used once live, and it was on June 20th of 2018 with Dead & Company. I can't find any footage, and I've tried for a very long time to actually try and find footage of John using it. We just have one actual really great shot of John holding the guitar, so we know, yeah, it was used live, but no footage as far as I can find actually exists of it. But really cool to see that this is just one unique finish in 2018 that kind of was there and then it was gone very, very quickly. But I do think it's a really cool finish, and maybe it was kind of an early prototype for what would become Mock Sand, kind of the beigey color scheme of it. I could see maybe translating to Mock Sand, but yeah, that's number 4. I do think it's a really cool and underrated prototype finish. All right, cracking the top 3 is a finish on the Silver Sky that when I saw it, I thought it was an absolute lock that we were going to get it as a production finish, but we just never did. And it's the Purple Silver Sky. Now this guitar was debuted during the first leg of the 2019 World Tour, and I do really like it a lot. It's a nice kind of rich purple color. It's a very Danish peat purple finish, I will say, and it just looks really cool. John played it for a couple of shows, and then he ended up giving it to Ed Sheeran when Ed joined him in Japan for one of the kind of final shows on that leg of the tour. And then we've never seen that guitar since either, and that's the guitar that Ed did use live with John. But it's kind of cool that we see this purple finish. John played it a handful of times, and then again, it's just another one that just kind of came and went. Who knows if he designed it for Ed Sheeran and then just decided to play it a little bit first before giving it to him, or if it's a genuine finish that they were experimenting with. But it's one that I think would have been cool to have gotten, and we just never did. But I do really like it quite a lot. The purple, I think it works on the Silver Sky. All right, number 2 is the olive brown Silver Sky that we saw John debut at the Grateful Dead 60th anniversary celebration shows. This finish is unreal. I absolutely love it. It's got that satin kind of finish to it. It's not quite total brown. It's not quite total olive either, but it is such a nice finish. It's like an evolution of Mock Sand almost, just to be a bit darker, a bit more brown and green to it instead of just that nice shade of sandy beige that we have with Mock Sand. It's just a really great looking color. I think it looks so amazing. And Tom did also talk about this guitar in the video he made as well. And he mentioned that John actually sent in an object to then have the PRS design team take the color of and make it for a Silver Sky. Pretty cool that they were able to do that, and I wouldn't be surprised if John hadn't done that a handful of times. He'd be like, yeah, I really like this finish. And I feel like that's what he did for Faded Black Tea Satin, where he took one of his Visvim t-shirts and was like, I want this color to be what we do on the next Silver Sky, and then it's literally become faded black tea satin. I think that was probably the inspiration for that guitar. So I feel like it has happened in the past where John sent in an object for reference, and then that becomes the color of the Silver Sky. Even the original Silver Skies were all Tesla colors. John wanted to do kind of a nod to how like Fender guitars in the past were all like car colors in the early like 60s and stuff like that. But now he's just taking, let's take one of the most modern guitars from 2018 and use their paint finishes instead, and kind of, a nod to the history of the guitar, but modernizing kind of that whole theme. But the olive brown, it looks absolutely amazing. We've seen it as well in the studio with John with some dead spec appointments made to it with the string retainer, the brass nut as well. Who knows what's going on with the guitar, but it's one that I do genuinely think will make its way into production because it is so beautiful. I just think it is a lock. I think it's one that we will see as a production finish. It looks absolutely fantastic. And then the best Silver Sky prototype that we've never had made its way into production, in my opinion, is the finish known as Shadow. This thing to me is absolutely insane. It looks so cool. I love the shade of gray on the guitar. It's kind of like a matte gray almost in terms of like there's no metal to it or anything. It's very flat. It's not satin, but it's just like a flat gray. And then it has that hint of pink through the lower horn. Oh, it just looks so cool. And it's a guitar that me and a lot of my friends, when we talk about the Silver Sky, it kind of always comes up a little bit like, oh, like why did John never make Shadow? Because it is such a cool concept where you just have that little bit of a hint of color change in the cutaway. It is amazing. This is a guitar that we saw John using a little bit in 2018, like with Leon Bridges. He also did a performance with it on Jimmy Kimmel with New Light. He performed with Shadow, and that was kind of really it. We never saw it be used excessively live or anything, but just, in my opinion, such a beautiful finish. I do think it is really cool just to go down memory lane a little bit and take a look at all of these different prototypes throughout the years with the Silver Sky that John was testing out, but then just never ended up making. There's been some really cool ones over the years, and I definitely can understand why a lot of these never actually made their way into production. But then there are some cases where, like with Roxy Pink, everyone was like, guys, make the pink Silver Sky, make it. And then PRS and John just kind of do a shock announcement. All right, we've heard you. We're going to start pre-orders for it. Here's the official color and everything. It's really cool to see kind of how some of these guitars John plays live, like Faded Black Tea Satin, even the Satin Mock Sand. You see him playing it live, and then sure enough, a year and a half later, you get that official announcement that it is for the new year of Silver Skies. These are the new finishes, and you've seen John using it already, which is so cool. Instead of it kind of being finishes that come out of nowhere, you haven't seen him testing out or anything, and then it's just like, okay, here you go. Here they are. Just really, really cool. I do hope PRS and John do more limited edition runs as well, every couple of years maybe. I miss my Nebula quite a lot, and I definitely would love another Silver Sky, and I'm kind of holding out in case they do another limited edition finish, because that'd be one I'd love to just kind of have and keep as part of the history of the Silver Sky and everything. And I hope you guys did enjoy as well, me taking all of these various prototype Silver Skies, throwing them all in one video, and then just ranking them from my personal least favorite to my favorite. Let me know what you guys would actually do for your own ranking of all these different prototypes in the comments down below. And again, a special shout out to my friend Tom Butwin, who got just amazing footage of some prototype Silver Skies that, until he posted his video, no one publicly actually knew they even existed. So it's kind of cool to get a little bit of a glimpse into how these guitars are designed. And like Tom mentions in his video, John is very heavily a part of the whole process, which is what I think makes, you know, the Silver Sky so amazing as well. He's so in it when it comes to the design of the guitar, the finishes, everything. He is, you know, it's a signature guitar, but it's more than that. It's, you know, John's mark on the electric guitar, which I absolutely love. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on the next video.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.